Sorry I'm late to the party on this one, guys, but you know, the Sullivans have been pretty irrelevant in my life recently, and it's only just come to my attention. Zoe, you must have known this day was gonna come, right? I may be a few days late, but it was always going to be on the cards, on the way, as probably you intended it to be, because your channel is so irrelevant now that you need the trolls in order to survive. You need people like myself, not that I'm a troll, but you need people like myself and others to keep you relevant, to keep the money rolling in, because let's face it, you all quitting your jobs to dedicate your lives to pimping out your kids really isn't working, is it? It's not working. So you need another form of attack, and that is to bring in the trolls and bring people back to your channel, because after all, I haven't talked about you for a good 3 weeks, so I'm not quite sure why my name has been brought up in this conversation. But yes, Zoe, you have my attention, you have my fullest of attention, and one wonders if my attention will stray from now on. Well done. Let's have a look at this. It was titled something along the lines of Autistic Boys Trolled, or Trolled for Having an Autistic Son. Something like that, right? Got the views in, people are a bit up in arms about it. Let's go and have a look to see exactly what she says. And more specifically, not to be too egotistical about things, but, you know, what she said about me. Because, oh yes, it was bad. And oh yes, we're going to have a conversation.
Anyway, it's also been a week. Just have a little bit of a talk about this. It's also been a week of some really awful people coming onto my account.
Was it Ben? Was it Ben again? He's always hanging around your accounts, and he that awful man. I know, a very horrible creature he is.
Some really awful people. So obviously we get trolled a lot. A lot.
I feel your pain, Zoe, I really do. I get trolled every fucking day. I do. I get trolls, right? I do. Every YouTuber gets them. It's a fact. It's a sad fact, but it's a fact, right? But yeah, it's just something you have to deal with and move on, I guess. Is it? Is that what you do?
You know, there is obviously people who like making money out of our videos by dissecting them and remaking them for themselves, mainly because they have no content of their own, so they have to use other people's.
I wonder who she could be talking about. You know what, Zoe? The problem here is that you claim to be a YouTuber, right? You're a YouTuber? I'm a YouTuber. We're both YouTubers. What you're saying is that I have no content of my own, but if you look a little bit closer, what you'll realise is that my content is reacting or commenting on your content. That's an actual genre on YouTube. Look it up. Thousands upon thousands of people do that. Commentary channels, that's what they do. You can say, oh, the content is that it's not their content, is it? Well, no. Yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry, I misspoke. My content is reacting or commenting on your content. Do you see where that actually happened? Do you understand what that is? No? It's a genre, honestly. Look it up.
And yeah, we've had, you know, we're used to trolls, and the majority of the time, just whatever. But I think the thing is, when you think about trolls, really bad reflection on my glasses, I'm sorry. Try to look at a different angle, but it doesn't work. When you think about trolls, you think of people in, you know, in their mum's back room with food all down their clothes, in London.
Well, that sounded a bit random, doesn't it? Some bloke sitting in his mother's basement with food down his top and stuff in London. Why London exactly?
Or people in their dingy little flat in Wales who never leave their house. and their computer is like their only friend. And really, you've got to feel sorry for them, because that's their entire life.
Wow, you're a delight, aren't you, Zoe? An absolute delight of a human being. I love that you can, we can have this conversation, you know, because I think we deserve to have a conversation after so many months away, right? So if you're a bit confused, she is in fact talking about me, right? On this occasion, yep, living in a dingy little flat in Wales. Can't go out.
Or people in their dingy little flat in Wales.
Dingy little flat. Right, so basically, yeah, I live in a flat. Is it dingy? No, it actually isn't dingy. What you're doing there, Zoe, is pretty much shaming somebody for living in a smaller place than you. Unfortunately, not all of us were blessed with 15,000 children, which gives you a massive house. Do you realise the only reason you've got a house that size is because you had so many kids and the council gave it to you, right? So when you say to somebody else, oh, he lives in a dingy little flat, well, yeah, I don't have 15 kids. I wasn't gifted a flat like or a massive house like yourself. You know, maybe that's a career option. Yeah, I could get a posse of kids and I could put them out onto the internet like yourselves and get a free house. That sounds like a good plan, I think, anyway.
Who never leave their house.
So he never leaves the house. This isn't quite the flex that you think it was going to be. It was not quite the result that you think it was going to cause. It's not going to make you look good, basically, Zoe. It's not going to make you look good. So I'm going to give a little bit of a story time here. I know this is about the Sullivans, but it's also about me. You know, we're having a little discussion, me and Zoe here, okay? So if you want to listen in, great. So, as Zoe knows, right, some of you also do know, but for those of you that don't, here's the backstory, right? So, okay, I currently suffer from agoraphobia. I can't leave the house. So when Zoe says, doesn't leave the house, she knows this, she knows why, and she knows why, right? To me, that actually is pretty nasty, right? I'm not saying that I'm overly affected by it, you know? I'm not affected by anything that these idiots say, right? But what I'm saying is that, you know, they know, because they're not the first YouTube family to mention this. Yes, Chris Ingham has also come back with that, ironically. But they know that that's the only way to try and get at me, is to try and like put down mental illness. Do you see how deranged that actually is? You know, right? So in response to me calling them out for exploiting their children, she's chosen to come back with, ha ha, you're mentally ill. Yeah, exactly, right? On the other side, right, I've never ever made fun of any illness they have. Like Ben, he has his thing with his heart thingy jigger. I wasn't even interested in that. I don't really care about it, to be honest. Don't know what it was. He had a problem with his heart, went to hospital, I know that, and he got it sorted out, which is good, right? Yes, I've said I may have made a little bit of fun of Zoe's ums and ahs. I'm sorry about that, right? But what can you do? Yeah, I don't make fun of the fact that she's got anxiety. I don't. I've mentioned I think she has anxiety, but I haven't made fun of it ever, because I wouldn't. And so I feel like trying to put down somebody's mental health is pretty poor as a response, right? I feel like the points I put forward about them exploiting their kids and all the wrongs that they do, right, is quite justified. Anybody with half a brain could figure out that it's justified, right? But their response to that is, yeah, he's got he can't leave the house. Look at him. He's not laughing at. Look at him. He's pathetic. He can't even leave the house. Oh, jeez. All it's done, Zoe, is made you look stupid. And I have more to say, right? Because I don't know why you're bringing me into this conversation anyway. I have not mentioned you for 3 weeks. 3 whole weeks. In fact, I was taking a look through my videos on the Sullivans over the past few months, right? And I've hardly mentioned them. So the last time I did a video on them was March the 17th. That's 3 weeks ago. Prior to that, it was 3 weeks before that. Prior to that, it was about a month before that. I did quite a few in January, but that was off the back of them calling me out in a video, actually, ironically. But I just haven't been bothered that much, really, with talking about them because they're just not relevant. I haven't had the mental capacity or the mental space to actually think about them. And yet they bring me into this conversation of which I haven't even been part of. I literally have not given them a second thought for weeks, right? And I've been brought back into this conversation. I didn't do anything. I'm not saying I'm completely innocent as regards to talking about them incessantly, for the last couple of years. But I just haven't been... I'm not sure where this is coming from. Maybe they've had trolls recently. I don't know. I haven't been watching. I haven't been keeping tabs on them. But I've been brought back in here, but not in a nice way. It's in quite a nasty way. And I don't really appreciate it because not that I expect them to love me or like me. It's not really in their best interests to bring me back into this conversation because all it's going to do is what it has done. I've reacted to the video and now I'm going to do some more and some more and some more and some more because I am not going to let it go, Zoe. I let you go. I don't want anything to do with you, but clearly you are so desperate for views that you need the haters, the trolls, and everyone else to be watching your every move. You say you don't, but you do because you need people to keep you relevant. At the end of the day, you're not relevant. There's not enough supporters out there to make you relevant and to keep you housed in that property, right? There's not. So if anybody had any doubt over this, a couple of the comments confirms it in the comments. So this person said, I don't agree with the nasty trolling you get, Zoe, but I do have to say you sound very judgmental when you use the term typical trolls that live in London and Wales in small flats. So obviously some people have taken the comments to heart about these particular locations being typical troll locations, and somebody else replied with, totally agree, that's stereotyping. I live in a small flat in London, very expensive, work full-time and very far from a troll. So obviously people a little bit upset at Zoe's wording there, but she does reply and she says the following: guys, this was aimed at 2 of our biggest haters who have hated on us repeatedly every single day for years. making more and more profiles to keep hating. One lives in a flat in Wales, thank you, hands up, that's me. And one who makes videos of himself with food down his front lives in a flat in London. It was just a dig at them. So, as you can see, it was just a dig at me. And also Perry. Big up Perry, right? I mean, come on. Again, just saying he it's just embarrassing. Zoe, you're embarrassing yourself. Talking about him filming videos with food down his shirt. Just, yeah, it's embarrassing for you. I'm sorry at this point. But what I want to say about Perry now, right, is this. You made it. You made him. All right? You know you made him. And I'll tell you for why. So a little bit of a trip down memory lane to a few months ago, right? I made a video on it at the time. I made a few videos on it at the time, I think. And Perry used to be a fan, right? Do you remember? Perry was a supporter of yours. Rightly or wrongly, right? I personally think he shouldn't have been, but he was. What changed? Why did he not be a supporter? It wasn't because of me. It wasn't anything I said, right? I continued doing videos on you and he continued to support you, right? So what do you think was the issue? You remember, don't you, Zoe? Yeah, that's right. What Zoe did at the time was he called out Perry for being a massive troll and sending threatening letters to the house and sending threats, I think death threats, they accused him sending, fabricating death threats to implicate an innocent person. Now, Perry has done some shit, right, towards the Inghams in the past, right? But what he did not do was do what Zoe accused him of doing. And that was orchestrated and planned to make it sound like they had a troll just like the Inghams had. And they had hate just like the Inghams had. But they used Perry as a pawn in their game, right? I called them out for it because I saw the posts that they posted. I knew Perry had not posted those things or done anything or said anything. He was in your comments every day being very nice to you. You were hearting his comments. It was not him. The reason why he now no longer likes you is because you did that to him. That is the reason. So when you complain of people being nasty to you and horrible to you, look at what you have done to other people, right? That is the reason why he does that. Not because he's just doing it for the sake of it. It's because you actually tried to set him up. Or you did set him up because you had all the little fans there believing that he had done it and he hadn't. And yeah, that is the reason. And also, I dislike you just because you exploit your kids. Is that good enough? From now on, because I have tried to move on from this situation, move on from you and everything else, but you just want me back. I'm back. I am back, baby. So expect a few more videos. I just, I'll knock a few out. Just don't worry about it.
Who never leave their house. So whilst we're out here doing all our stuff and having, time with our family, and we have the most amazing children, and we get to spend every day with them, they don't have very happy lives.
Yeah, but my kids don't get pimped out on the internet for predators, do they? So, you know, it swings and roundabouts, isn't it, Zoe? Idiot.
Now, whilst we've got a few of those trolls, and that is how most people look at trolls, and it's kind of easy to ignore those ones because, you know, that's what they are.
Well, for somebody that finds it so easy to ignore us, you seem to know an awful lot about my life. Innit? Where I live being one of them, you know. You've done a little bit of, I mean, it's not a massive secret. I don't really care who knows where I live, but you know, if you didn't care, you probably wouldn't know this information, would you?
That's not actually a very big percentage of them. Now, obviously, we've got some amazing followers, and our amazing followers outweigh the trolls in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, and I bet the pedos outweigh the followers as well. But, you know, anything for a few quid, innit, Zoe?
But there are probably 90% of the people that troll me directly are women. They are women, usually in their late 50s, 60s.
Wouldn't worry about it, Zoe. Wouldn't worry about it. They probably feel relatable to you as you know, a similar age range.
Like I said, not always. We have other ones, but they are the majority, which really saddens me. I just think, and they're not just that. They are people that you would meet in the street and see as normal people. You know, you might even speak to them in the shop or wherever they work, or just normal people. And that's kind of the worrying thing.
I'm not being funny though, Zoe. What exactly are you defining as trolling though? Alright? If it's just general conversation, people pointing out what you're doing wrong, or people pointing out that you're pimping out your kids, then that's not necessarily trolling, is it? In fact, that's just pointing out what you're doing wrong. It's not trolling at all. So ordinary people might be upset at you destroying your children's lives and profiteering off their existence and stuff. They might be upset about it. I might be wanting to point that out to you. Not trolling, just concern.
You know, the normal people, just, you think they are normal, but when they get online, they are vicious and vile. Now, obviously, I shared a reel this week on Autism Awareness Day about Joseph. But it wasn't just about Joseph. It was about inclusion and acceptance for autism, ADHD, neurodiversity, should I say, across the board, and how the world is not accepting of these things.
Right, okay, and how are you proving your point then? You know, I'm neurodivergent too. I just think that maybe you're kind of proving that people aren't accepting of it, maybe by saying shit about me, you know. Also the mental health thing too. Not very understanding of that either. But, you know, that's just you, isn't it, Zoe?
And some of the comments from a few people were awful. Really awful. Mainly about the fact that we don't have an official diagnosis for Joseph, because obviously it's very difficult with Joseph because he's homeschooled. So he is under the paediatrician, trying to get an actual official diagnosis. But because they don't have a third party input, they need that for an actual. Anybody that's been through the system will know this. And to be honest, it's just a piece of paper. Now, people might say, if it's just a piece of paper, why are you chasing a diagnosis? I'm chasing a diagnosis exactly for that reason, so that people are supposedly supposed to be more accepting. If you have a piece of paper or you have an official diagnosis from somebody in the medical profession, apparently people will supposedly be more accepting of you, which we all know is utter rubbish as well, because people will say what they say.
I'm sorry, that sounds very much like You're saying that you want a diagnosis just to tell the haters that he's autistic. Is that why you want the diagnosis? Because there's far more things available and help available to you for the right reasons if you get a diagnosis. That's why you should be chasing the diagnosis, not to prove a point to the haters.
And that is the only reason we're chasing a diagnosis for Joseph, for him, so that he can be more accepting, not necessarily of himself, but so that other people can accept him more. This is the thing that worries me most about people, neurodiversity and all that sort of stuff is, I don't mean all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean, is the world and how far behind people are and how awful people can be, and the things that people can say.
See, I'm very confused, Zoe. You're saying that the world should be more accepting. The world should not be so opinionated and horrible to people who are maybe different or have various health needs, etc., right? But is that not exactly what you did? Also, just to go back to the point, right, about Perry, right, because I know Perry's done some bad things in the past, but it's very, very clear that Perry has some sort of he's got some sort of autism, right? It's very clear if you watch him, right? So you set him up. You set him up as a fall guy to take the fall for, to make everyone hate on him because he was an easy target. Because, yeah. And now you're turning around and saying, well, people aren't accepting of people with autism. People hate on people with autism. People aren't aware of how bad it is to have autism. People are just horrible. But yet, on the other hand, you're being that same person. Do you understand that?
Now, whether or not you have an official diagnosis, if you're a parent of somebody who is chasing a diagnosis or has children who you know are on the spectrum, or you yourself are on the spectrum, and you know you are, and you've probably fought with it for years and years and years and haven't got that official diagnosis, my cat is snoring, you know how difficult it can be, because it puts you in a group where you don't really know where you fit. Can I access support because I don't have an official diagnosis? Can I speak about my child who I know has autism because I don't have an official diagnosis? So therefore, but at the moment, the waiting list for CAMS, which is what he's on, is 4 to 7 years. So am I supposed to keep quiet for the next 7 years and not share my experience, share my worries?
Well, I, for one, have never hated on Joseph for having autism. I also do think that if you think he has autism, that you should chase a diagnosis, right? I have a question, right? And I don't know the answer to this, and I'm not hating in any single way, but I would like to know, is there a way of getting a diagnosis quicker than the 4 to 7 years? Is that what it is, right? Is there a way of getting it quicker than that? Like if you were to pay privately, for example. I don't know if you can or not. I'm sorry if I'm coming across as a little bit ignorant, but I'm just thinking that with their sort of fame and everything, the fact that they live in a big house, not a dingy flat in Wales, that they might be able to afford to pay private, to get a quicker diagnosis. I would have thought they would be able to do that anyway. If it's available, obviously.
Ask for support, ask for help, because I don't have an official piece of paper that says what I already know. Somebody, as a parent, as a mother, who spends nearly every single day with that child.
I'm sorry, I had to do a double take then. Did you just say that you spend nearly every day with the child? Nearly every day. How old is he? 6? I bloody hope that you spend every day with that child, please. Thank you. Just a request.
No. Now, the majority of you will understand where I'm coming from, and they'll be like, no, exactly. Although I know there'll be plenty of people who don't have a diagnosis, who are fighting for a diagnosis for their child or for themselves, and you'll know exactly how I feel, because it puts you in a group where you don't really know, do I comment on things? Do I not comment on things? Am I allowed to talk about it? Am I not allowed to talk about it? Do you know what? You are allowed to talk about it. You are allowed to talk about it. Because you are part of the group as well. Just because you don't have that official diagnosis, you are part of that group. Yeah. Don't let people gaslight you into thinking that you're not part of that group. There'll only be people that do that probably are not part of that group. Or just, I do come across the odd, they call themselves fellow autism parents, and the majority of the community are amazing. The majority of comments I get are so supportive, and some people have given me some absolutely amazing ideas as well as what to help Joseph and to do with Joseph and things like that, and the support has been incredible. But I have had the odd one, as I'm sure a lot of people have, where you get an odd comment from somebody who apparently knows autism, that sort of thing. That is not so nice. But the majority are, and the community itself is very, very supportive. But don't think for a second that you can't be part of that community because you don't have an official diagnosis.
So I'm confused then. You've got people who are telling you good advice and being supportive towards you and being good and everything, but why are we talking about this? How is this the most incredibly bad trolling you've ever experienced or some shit?
That you can't speak about your issues, your problems, you can't ask for support because you don't have an official diagnosis, because that's absolute rubbish. If you need support and you need help, you can talk. You can ask. Yeah, you can ask for support. You can talk about things. Don't ever let anybody make you think that you can't. So I had somebody come onto my Instagram this morning and say that Joseph doesn't have autism because he makes eye contact with people and he likes hugs, so he can't have autism. And that they were a medical professional and they knew about this and that he couldn't. So number one, that's utter crap. Because plenty of people with autism make eye contact. It's such an old, that used to be one of the things that they would use many, many years ago, before any people understood properly about autism. That was one of the things that people used, or that, all autistic people don't make eye contact. There used to be a checklist. It's so outdated. It's unreal.
Also, there's a spectrum of autism, so some kids might not like hugs, might not like human touch, and other kids might be okay with it but have less. I think you get it. It's quite well known these days, I hope, anyway. Keep talking about it, Zoe. Your awareness is much appreciated in the community.
Absolutely outdated. So number one, that's utter rubbish. Number two, Joseph likes hugs on Joseph's terms. Some people with autism love hugs. Some people hate hugs. Joseph doesn't mind them on Joseph's terms, but he wouldn't hug you if he didn't want to. Autistic children and people can be extremely loving. Again, another old kind of trait of people with autism, that they couldn't be loving, they couldn't be caring, they didn't have it in them. I mean, they're not a different species. They're still human beings, just like you and me. Do you know what I mean? This kind of outdated view is just incredibly insulting. I mean, this person obviously had a problem with me. I've blocked them before because they've made comments on other pages, mainly to me. So it's obviously they have a problem with me as a parent. They think they went on to say how I'm destroying my children's lives, how I'm wrecking their lives, etc., etc., and basically trying to gaslight me into thinking, their point was they thought that Joseph didn't have autism, but I do, because I only care about my needs and my wants. I mean, number one.
Well, no, that's not an autism trait, is it? That's a Sullivan trait, really, isn't it? You do only care about your needs and wants, Zoe, because you put your kids out there for the world to gawk at every day, for about 20 quid. So, you know. And yeah, it is about 20 quid a day, isn't it? It's not great, is it? Not worth the risk, anyway.
So what if I have? And number two, what? I run around all day after my family. I have my hair done once every 6 weeks. I have a shower in the morning. I suppose that's me time as well. And I do go to bed at night. So I suppose that's me time. But the rest of my days are spent with my children. And you might think that because I don't spend all my time with my younger children, that I'm not doing anything. But keeping a house and cooking meals and doing the shopping and doing the washing and running around after the older children, that's doing stuff for my family. And that is pretty much the majority of my day. So normally I'm doing academic stuff with the little ones in the mornings. But yeah, I'm normally the one running around after the older ones. Ben's normally the one in the house with the younger ones or out on walks with the younger ones. And I'm normally the ones, we have to split it down. There's only two of us. Yeah, there's a lot of children. So we have to split down the responsibilities. And as he was away working a lot when the older children were young, he missed that portion of their lives. And he doesn't want to miss that portion with the younger ones, which is why he spends a lot more time with them doing stuff than maybe I do. I mean, there's other parts that we don't film. I'm obviously here all the time. There's morning time, there's bedtime, there's all those, doesn't all get filmed. But yeah, when it comes down to the split of duties, I probably spend more time running after the older ones. He spends more time taking the younger ones out for walks and stuff. It's just the way it goes. I was lucky enough to be able to do all of that stuff with my older children when they were younger. So yeah, it's kind of, he wants to be able to do that as well. He missed out on all of that. So, it's just the way things work. We still have a house to run. We still have washing to do. There's still shopping, all those sorts of things. And yeah, they do fall to me normally. And that's just the division of labour and how it goes in our house. But anyway, back to the comment. What worried me most about this particular comment, I had a whole thread with another woman the other day. And again, it started off being about Joseph, but then it was mainly digs at me and how rubbish a parent I was and how awful I am as a person, etc, etc, etc. Again, you see like a very small percentage of our day. A very small percentage. And Ben probably films more than I do. But you see a very small percentage of our day. Now, I will get people telling me if I include the children in a vlog, then I'm exploiting my kids. If I don't include the children in a vlog, then I'm showing off. I'm talking about myself too much. You can't win with people. You can't. And I'm not even going to try because I literally, like I said, I don't care. I don't care. I know that I'm a good parent. I know that Ben is a good parent. I know that we are very good parents and that our family is amazing. We are very lucky to have the family we have. Our kids are amazing. And yeah, there's a lot of things that we want out of life. And I want better for them. And I want a better house for them. And I want to do better for them. And I'll do everything I can to do that. But, we have people phone the police, people phone social services, people phone environmental health, people phone all of these people trying to get us into trouble. What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? What are you doing? If you don't like us as people, go watch something else, because the fact that you stay on my page and you stay watching our stuff and you continue to hover in the background liking comments, that troll comments that are made, and there you are liking them again, it's really weird and it's really sad. Yeah, just move on with your life, go somewhere else, find something that makes you happy, because being on the internet certainly does not make you happy. So go and find something that does. It's just really, really weird. I know that I have not got time for that kind of stuff at all. So it's just whatever.
You do have all day though, Zoe. If you didn't have all day, why would you seek out information to use against me randomly. I'm going to say it's randomly. As I said before, I have not been around your pages for ages, right? And I wasn't intending for a while. I couldn't be bothered. I didn't have the time, the energy, nor the capacity to bother with you. However, I do now. I've been reinvigorated, so to speak. Reinvigorated is a good word. And I'm going to be coming and raising awareness in your direction to anybody that will listen, because you have a lot of very fragile, very vulnerable people on your channel who support you that somehow don't understand that they are watching child exploitation. So I'm going to make it my mission to inform every single one of them and make sure that they are aware that they are, helping you exploit your children, which isn't a good thing. Anyway, if you have appreciated this video, please give it a massive thumbs up, comment all of your thoughts about it down below, and subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.